Okay, here we go. Like they're on. What is up, Eastern Oregon? It's Doddsy, and we're here. We're in studio. I think this is like what the second time since COVID that we've been in studio like together for this. But it's Keeping It Clear with Cody Bowen. It's a live interactive show with where you guys can ask questions. If you don't feel comfortable asking the question right here on Facebook, send me an email, kyle@eoalive.tv. And I'll look over the question, and yeah, it's just me and Cody. We sit here and we do a little bit of gabbing. Cody, what's up?
How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, really good. Yeah, I got the summer rolling off. The rain finally stopped. I don't know if anybody noticed that or not, but the sunshine's been nice for sure.
I would imagine people probably noticed that the rain stopped.
I hope so.
I mean,
Perry
Buffalo
Swimming
Peak
Hole.
has.
Yeah. Perry Swimming Hole's been hopping.
Popping, huh?
Yeah.
Man, that brings back some memories. Perry Swimming. One time I was out there, and Kobe Meyer lived out there.
Yeah.
And we were swimming, goofing around, and I tell this story to people because I'm quite large, you know, like I take up a lot of space, and I broke the chandelier in the Myers' living room.
With what?
It's my noggin. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. So what's new for you?
Not much. We've got just finished up stock show. Of course, we contract services out there, provide law enforcement service for stock show. It was a great year for them. Leading up to it, they had. It was nice to be back in the normal realm of outdoor activities and social functions. So. Everybody's having a good time. No major incidents. They had a great turnout from start to finish. It was a success for them, and I'm glad we could be a part of that and help. So
that would be a great time for me to mention our sponsor,
absolutely,
Loveland Safe Ride. And Loveland Safe Ride, man, this is their prime time, summertime, and they're showing up in vehicles from all the different dealerships around town, with drivers to give people rides when there's alcohol being consumed.
Yeah, I think they had a vehicle donated and a couple from one of them, but a vehicle from every dealership in town provided to that program this year. They had 7 vehicles.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Don't quote me on the numbers, but yeah.
And what is it going on, like 20 years for Loveland Safe Ride?
I believe so.
Right around there, and they have a bunch of volunteers and they show up. I saw them sitting Beer Fest.
Yeah.
They just sit out there waiting for people. Yeah. But then the other thing I saw waiting for people was 2 LeGrand police cars just sitting there. So, like, I was the designated driver. So, I mean, I'm good. You know what I mean? But, Loveland Safe Ride. I mean, if you walk out and you're tipsy and you see that, and then you see the 2 cop cars there as well, I mean, that's a pretty good sign that you should probably get in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. That I've said it time and time again, but that program, Loveland Safe Ride, has saved more lives than we'll ever know, and it's helped us out law enforcement wise. It's given us, when we identify those people before they get in the vehicle, hey, here's your out right here. Here's your way home. We'll lock up your vehicle. Take your keys. It's good to go. It's safe. Yeah, it's a great program.
I would love to put a camera in those cars.
Oh man, I would love to as well. These stories that Jerry has shared over the years, not naming any names or describing any people, but he's had some fun rides at home.
It would be like Taxi Cab Confessions.
Yes, it would be.
Seriously, like the
whole other different side of people.
Yeah, the Union County version.
Yeah.
So what's new for the Sheriff's Office? But wait, first, let me tell people once again, this is a live interactive show. So you can post your questions right here. Anything to do with Union County Sheriff's Office, their programs, whatever they have going on for the summer, put it in here. If you don't want to post it publicly, you can send me an email at kyle@eoalive.tv. Anyways, what's going on with the Sheriff's Office?
Anyway, so we just concluded stock show, got done with that. We're gearing up for Stampede. That's coming around. We've got a couple parades out there that we're going to help out with, and then providing security and law enforcement for the Stampede. Great year going into. They had a great fundraiser, their steak feed this year. Tremendous turn. The folks that came and donated to that absolutely rocked it this year. It was great to see the support that they got. So, what in turn that I don't believe they're going to have a dance this year. So we'll have we'll have 5 or 6 officers out there certified and reserves. We got the reserve program up and running. The guys have some time under their belt, guys and gals. So we've got a great program that's going there. Did the Elgin contract. I'm sure some of you have heard about that. They've been talking over the last year of going back to their own police department, and they were, dabbling in the waters and seeing what that looked like as far as budgetarily and manpower and people and employment, and what it looked like for the city. And there was times where they voted to go with their own police department and cancel their services with the sheriff's office, which was frustrating for me. It was, in the original, I thought it was a money thing, but then there was, a few people that really wanted to see what their own police department looked like that hadn't experienced it before or forgot what it was like. So they voted, and they voted to go with their own police department. And, that was a tough pill for me to swallow. We've been there for 10 years. We provide a really good service, I feel, to the citizens of Elgin for the money. And so I took that a little hard. Of course, on my end, those are people. It's not just dollar amount. So putting out layoff notices and having to terminate 3 patrol positions for our North County was uncharted waters for me, if you will. So I didn't like that. I didn't like telling people that they weren't going to have a job in a month. What that does to them, as far, especially right now with the economy, just the price of gas alone, or food, or trying to buy a home, or the interest rates are skyrocketing again. So, there was a lot on my mind for quite a while. Fortunately, the citizens of Elgin spoke up once they heard what was going on. Of course, I wrote another letter in true Cody Bowen form.
Scarfo said something about that on the morning
Did
show
he?
the other day.
Yeah.
He's like, we just are going to have to expect some letters.
Yes, yeah. It's not my last one, I promise. As I promised in the campaign, if I have something, you're going to know who I am. You're going to know who Cody Bowen is. You're going to know the type of office that I run and the business that I conduct, and it's as clear as glass. You'll be able to see right through everything that I'm doing. And if I'm not being transparent, that's an issue with me. And I really hope people, as they have in the past, will call you out and say, hey, what's going on here? There's more than meets the eye.
Right. That's the whole reason why we do this show.
Absolutely. 100% foundation of this show is just letting people know what's going on and leaving it interactive and open so people can ask a question. I don't know what's coming.
It's not rehearsed. There's
Yeah.
no we're waiting on you guys to ask the questions, actually.
Yeah, and for the most part, no questions are off limits. We don't screen these. We don't talk about it beforehand. It's whatever questions are out there, and that's how I want it to be. That's who I am as a person. That's who I am as a husband, a father, a coach, a sheriff. I speak from my heart, and I can lay my head down at night and know that I'm doing what I'm doing because I believe it's the right thing to do. And I'm answering questions, and I'm speaking, and I'm giving information from my heart, which I think is the non-rehearsed, non-political version is what our country is lacking so much of. And I think people, an elected official like myself, they deserve to know the truth, and they deserve to know, up front and quick and what's going on. So part of this show is what that's about. Part of that letter was what that was about. So that brought a lot of people, back to that letter, brought a lot of people into Elgin City Council, and they voiced their opinions and their concerns, and fortunately, the council and the mayor realized what the citizens of Elgin wanted, and they voted unanimously to not continue but start a new contract with my office and our law enforcement officers out there for 6 years. It's the longest contract that we've had with any of our contracting entities. 6 years is something that usually they're 2 or 3 or 1 or whatever that looks like. And I pretty much said to him, I went out there with a 10-year contract. I said I will take no less than 6 because that's what I can look at in the future, and as far as cost of living increases, that type of stuff, and accurately give you an estimate on your price. And they agreed to the 6-year term. So I'm excited for that. That gives 3 of my patrol deputies a little bit of sanctity, a little bit of more feeling secure that their job isn't going somewhere at the whim of somebody's decision to say, I want to try something new. So,
Right.
yeah. And it also gives the Elgin residents a sense of security. For 6 years, they know that the product that they're going to receive is there. It gives the council and the mayor, it gives them something. You know, if for some reason I wasn't elected in 3 years, they're still tied into that contract. A new sheriff can't come in and change it up. So I think I'm doing an all right job enough to
Knock
stick
on
around.
plastic.
Yeah, plastic something. But, you know, I feel like things are going really well. I think that Union County residents are happy with the service they're receiving, and if they're not, they call me and we work through it, and we find resolutions to those problems. So, yeah.
Hey, I'm going to tell you guys a story real fast. It's actually quite funny. This guy is so reliable when it comes to returning phone calls and texts, right? I text him. I'm like, hey, I got a new phone number, da-da-da-da-da. I get nothing for like a day. I'm starting to get worried, like, because usually it's like, even on a phone call, it's like, I'll call you when I'm done. I'm busy if he doesn't answer. Well, it was because he was out of town. But the funny part of the story is we get to the new phone and I'm like, dude, did you save the number? Like, because he texted me on the old number. So I'm like keeping this other phone just for him at this point. And then I'm like, dude, you're going to have to give me a confirmation when I get, like, you're going to have to send it to the new phone just so. And I ended up getting a middle finger and a smiley face, and a little kiss.
I figured it out.
So this is live and interactive. We're waiting. So this is how this show always goes. Somebody needs to break the ice, because what happens is we end up getting like 10 questions when we're like 50 minutes into the show. And the show goes for roughly an hour. I mean, if we don't get any questions, we'll cut it a little short. But somebody needs to break the ice here and ask Cody a question. Oh, we got one. Randy Winterton. Are there officers who reside in Elgin? Like response time related is what the question, like, is there police who are there deputies who reside out there?
No, there used to be. And to be honest with you, Randy, that was a problem. In fact, to the point of, you know, a deputy at one point said that he didn't like his hometown anymore, because being a police officer, it showed him the ugly side of his hometown and people knocking on his door all hours of the day. So no, we, not intentionally by any means, but no, we do not have any deputies that reside within the city limits of Elgin. And as far as, you know, response time or what goes, you know, unless they're on duty, even if they did live out there, I wouldn't expect them to respond unless it was something that was absolutely catastrophic, where I'm calling in all units to respond to something in Elgin. But when they're on duty, their time starts, you know, from the minute that they jump in the vehicle and they go. Response time to Elgin on a code call, you know, if any of you have seen us go by you, you know, we're going as fast as we absolutely safely can. And there's times that can be a 30-second response, depending on where the deputy's at, to a 10-minute to a 45-minute if there's just one deputy, but, you know, coming from North Powder. But, you know, when deputies are on and patrolling in Elgin, and the 420 hours that they provide every month, response time is very, very quick, very rapid.
Yeah, so there will actually be at least a deputy
Yes.
in Elgin, 420 hours.
420 hours. There's 3 deputies that split it up between day shift and night shift out there, and we provide 420 hours. In the last few months, we've provided, you know, 499, 502. You know, we're always well over that 420. There's some months where, you know, we have vacations or whatnot where we might be under the 420, but historically we are well over that 420 limit, and that's something that they don't pay for. You know, we charge them for 420 hours, and the other stuff is, you know, I don't want to say a freebie by any means, but it's service that they're not paying for, you know, which is nice to have. It's nice to have those, but some of those cases drag out and they take, you know, extra long hours, you know, follow up and then courtroom time and all types of stuff. So, yeah.
Jennifer Renner says, nice to see our sheriff is transparent. Crystal McDermott, what is your favorite event that you work?
Oh. Man,
You like to put on your cowboy hat.
I love
your
my
boots.
cowboy hat. Absolutely.
So you gotta you love the summertime.
You know,
have to.
I do love the summertime. You know, to be honest with you, and still, my favorite event as law enforcement is anything that has to do with the kids, anything that has to do with the schools. whether that's sporting events, whether that is school events, whatever that stuff's going on, I really like the relationship that our local law enforcement officers have with our kids. Kids, even now, that don't see me in uniform or recognize the truck, they still recognize me. They recognize the smile and they wave, and that's huge for me. That relationship will last forever. So anything I can do with the kids, if I can't be available, we'll definitely have a deputy there. Rodeo time, for sure. I enjoy rodeo time. When I was doing patrol, even now as sheriff, of course I do. I still like to get out there and put on the gear and do the job. That's what I fell in love with. Rodeos are definitely my favorite. I can't tell you, stock show, I love the atmosphere, I love the people, but the weather sucks. It always rains. It always rains. So that's a tough one. The small stuff, Huckleberry Fest, we have some folks that come out and help with that. We have work crew coming out to help with clean with that. That small town stuff, the Cherry Festival, anything that we can be a part of with that, the parades, anytime that I can. This might sound stupid, but put my hat on, wave my little hat around and smile and build that relationship with the community, I'm all in. So
that's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. I want to be seen.
Yeah. So, last year, what was it the fair where Dana threw all the money down and said,
yeah, the fair was awesome.
You were getting dunked?
Yeah,
How many
the dunk
times did you
tank.
get dunked?
I can't even remember. It was great until I believe it was one of the fair board ladies, and I won't mention her name, but she goes by the last of Shaw. She came over and dumped in bags of ice into the dunk tank before I got in. So beautiful. Yes, I appreciate that, Mrs. Shaw. But that was a good time. And that's what it's all about. That's responding to the terrible tragedies and the 911 calls. That's part of the job. That's what we respond to. But the being out there in the community, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about softball real fast while we're waiting for another question.
Yeah.
You're the head coach, LeGrand High School. Your daughter's senior year. Yeah. Just kind of tell me what that felt like the end of the season, like knowing that, this is it. She moves on.
It gives me all teary-eyed now just thinking about it. But, I've been with that program for the last 7 years. I started when Kinsey was in 8th grade. I joined the high school softball team. Been through myself now the 4th different head coach, and it's had some really amazing years. It's had some really amazing coaches come through that program, and the talent that has come through, back-to-back state titles. This year, we beat ourselves in the semifinals game. Cascade was a good team, but I truly believe that we were the better team. We just didn't show up that day. And I went from absolutely the high of having a good time from a great hit to a home run to a couple errors of completely losing my mind and screaming at these teenage girls like they're other adults, trying not to drop any F-bombs or anything like that because I don't want to lose my job and I want to be a positive role model. But there was times that it was very frustrating down there. And but then you'd turn around and it'd be a great play and we'd be back in it. And it was a disappointing loss. The girls really... We had a tough season. We went from pre-COVID, we had 30 and some change. We had 32, 33 girls that were on the roster. We had a varsity, a JV, and a JV2 program and coaches for each one of those. And to go coming into this year after COVID, we lost 7 seniors. We lost 3 girls to the track program. A couple other girls just decided not to play, and it was tough. We ended up with starting out the year with, I think we had 18 girls, and then we had a couple more that decided they didn't want to do it, and then injuries and concussions, and by the end of the year, we were down to 15 kids. Wow. I couldn't facilitate, so that cut into a lot of our younger girls and some of our older girls, some of their playing time, and that broke my heart. To see a girl sit on the bench and not be able to be out there on the field with her teammate and whatnot, and that's heartbreaking for me, But knowing and trying to reiterate that they're a part of this team, and without them, without that inspiration from the dugout, and girls, they scream and yell. They got that with that intensity, without those girls in the dugout, without those girls at practice, making everyone better, including themselves. We wouldn't have gone as far as we did. So,
right.
It was a good season.
Live and interactive. Like I said, ask questions now. Don't pile them on at the end. So now Kinsey moves on. Your daughter.
Kinsey moves on, Grace moves on, and Kiara, she's going to school, but she's not going to play ball. But yeah, so Grace Neer, she's going to College of Idaho, going to play for the Yotes. I don't know about the color, purple, but good program, good coaching staff, and it's where she wants to go, and I think she'll do very well. I'm excited for her. I can't wait to see what goes down the road. You know, with the girls that have left here, you know, Allie Brock and Sievert, and even the girls staying here and going to EOU. It's been fun to see some of the success stories come out of LeGrand. So yeah, absolutely. Kinsey's going to OSU. We have a tour down there the middle of the month for family to come down and check out everything. She got a roommate assigned. She starts down there in August, man.
Awesome.
And yeah.
All right, Tina Thornton wants to know if you're going to hire another animal control officer. Where'd my girl go?
Yeah,
she just
Lonnie,
poof up and disappeared.
You know, Lonnie was with us for 20 years.
Yeah.
She did that job for 20 years. And for those that don't know, that are outside of the circle of law enforcement, the civil deputy and the animal enforcement job is one of the most taxing positions as far as call volume. They take, you know, a lot of calls. They have their heart and soul, and they care for the animals. And you know, it takes a special person to do that job. And she did it for 20 years, and it was really hard to see her go. She ventured off into a new career, doing some work for CHD, and seems to be happy. I haven't had that conversation with her yet to see how things are going, but you know, Facebook posts and her talking to other people, and I've seen her around. She seemed happy and good, so I wish the best for her. Patricia Kelly, our other deputy, who's been handling animal enforcement for us, and she's been doing a great job. So she and the former deputy Lonnie, they both did the civil end of things, and they did the animal enforcement together. That was kind of a shared position. So yes, we are going to open that back up. You should see some advertisement on that pretty soon. We're going to open that position back up as the animal enforcement officer, which will also be in the job description will be a civil deputy and animal enforcement officer together. So yeah, look for that. It's going to come open up here pretty soon. I'm opening it up to everybody. It's not just an internal hire, which, you know, keeping, like I said, the transparency and giving an opportunity to, you know, meet new people that might, you know, fit that niche better. I'm opening it up to everybody. So law enforcement, corrections, anybody that's interested, anybody outside of the circle that has never been in law enforcement or animal control, or anybody that's interested, if you have a genuine care for animals and you work well with others, and that's what we're looking for.
You work well with others.
Work well with others.
That's probably pretty important.
Sometimes you have to bite your tongue and smile. It's hard.
Which Cody doesn't
I know.
How to do,
Yeah.
by the way.
I'm learning how to bite my tongue.
You're like my mom. My mom just lets it go.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom.
Yeah.
You got to be like, Mom. Yeah. So for Union County Sheriff, the summertime, is that the busiest time? Like, is this the busy time? Is this when?
Yeah, there's definitely more people out and about. There's people enjoying those evenings after work where they can still get out and barbecue, have a good time, enjoy themselves. Of course, you know, the water recreation around here. You know, there's some place to go at each corner of the county, and it's a busy time of year. It really is. Seems like the folks stay out a little bit later. You know, they're not confined within their home, and you know, coming off of the whole COVID baloney, people are out and about and want to experience some stuff and get out and live again. So, this time of year is definitely busy as far as, and with rodeo season.
Where are you watching the fireworks?
We're actually going to go up to. We have some friends that we meet. We haven't been there for a couple years, but we have an annual trip that we go to Wallowa Lake. Yeah. So we'll go up there.
I think my brother
spend a couple nights up there. Yeah. I love last year we went to Buffalo Peak, watched the fireworks out there, and I was impressed. It was amazing with the amount of people and the show that they provided, and you know, it was a really cool event. But I really enjoy the fireworks on the lake. Yeah. We've got some friends up there that have a house right along. They always let us, you know, crash in the yard right there and watch them from the yard, or we'll go down to the boat dock and sit on the beach and watch them. So yeah.
Another question. Yeah. Do you know if they're going to ever do a drinking and driving rec scene at the high school? They have, haven't they?
Yeah. that used to be something that was put on by the city police department. It was called every 15 minutes.
That's right.
And you saw the kids dressed up as, you know, the undertakers and the kids that died every 15 minutes, and what is a very, very powerful deal. And kudos to Sergeant Lisa Reddington. She put that program on for a long time. She had a lot of help from some other folks, Sergeant Rasmussen, all of them in the city police department did a really good job with that, and we were fortunate enough to help out and be a part of that along with OSP and other entities. But as far as that program itself, I haven't seen it around in a few years. Will we again? I can't promise you anything, but if there's an opportunity to connect all the dots and make it work, it's a very impactful program that I think resonates with some of the kids for a long time. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Question from me. I just thought of this actually. Has all the price, you know, everything going up, has that affected your budget like pretty bad?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Just you know, I mentioned this last time, I think, you know, trying to get patrol vehicles has been a nightmare. You know, we've had vehicles on order for almost a year now, trying to replace some. I have patrol vehicles that have 250,000 miles on them. And I'll be honest with you, you know, priority is keeping our deputies safe, and responding to a call with, you know, over 200,000 miles on it can be sketchy at times. But fortunately, the county has been working with us across the street, and you know, we're expecting those delays in the new vehicles. And you know, last year we prepared for this. We upped some of our line items as far as our vehicle maintenance. Fuel, as you know, across the board is skyrocketed, and that's affected our budget tremendously. We have asked the guys not to, you know, there's a reason that our vehicles sit idle. You know, we don't shut them off, but at the same time, there are opportunities that we have where we can turn those vehicles off. And I've asked the guys to capitalize on that. Turn them off when you can. You know, that shuts down everything in the computer, so everything in the vehicle. So it takes a while to turn it on and reboot it. And if you're in a hurry going to call and you're counting on that information to come through when seconds matter,
Can't wait.
it's hard. You can't wait.
Right.
So at their discretion, shut them off when you can. You know, but at the same time, fuel, man, fuel is absolutely ridiculous. So, and you know, in the presentation of, you know, going forward for July's budget, next year's fiscal year budget, yeah, we've budgeted to continue this pace. So, yeah, it's definitely affected it.
Got a question coming in. Jennifer Renner, have you ever thought about doing a bicycle safety class for kids?
Yeah, we have in partnership with ODOT. We usually man a station. Billy Joe, she out there at ODOT is absolutely amazing when it comes to those programs. Of course, with COVID over the last couple of years, we haven't done much of that. So I look to see that coming back around. Yeah.
Nice. And haven't they done that at the fair in the past, or is it just
I
like
think so. They've done some stuff at Riverside Park. We've done some stuff at the Armory. Any of those opportunities where we can get where the entities, you know, OTEC, the railroad, the law enforcement, the schools can get together and do any type of safety. They bring all the kids through. Usually everybody's pretty cooperative and on board. So yeah, we've done it, and we've done it at several different locations, several different times a year.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Big thank you to Level and Safe Ride, man. They're what's making this happen. So anytime you get a chance to support that, support it. It's a great cause.
EO Live is your connection to Eastern Oregon. Get the latest and most relevant news in 2 minutes or less on our evening news broadcast. We cover Eastern Oregon's weather daily with Gabe, the EO Live weather kid, with an extended forecast every Friday. Watch Doddsy on EO Live Sports to get the latest sports information and interviews with local coaches, athletes, and more. See Brent and Doddsy goof and gaff with local guests on EO Live's morning talk show, AM Live on EOA. We're available across the board, including Facebook, YouTube, Amazon Fire, and of course, our very own website, eolive.tv. We even have our own Roku channel with 24/7 live stream EOA content. You can also listen to our shows on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and many other popular podcast apps. You can get everything all in one place with the EO Live app, available on Android, iOS, and the Amazon App Store. EO Live, your connection to Eastern Oregon.
Welcome back. Keeping it clear with Cody, Bowen. Live interactive where you guys get to ask the questions. And Cody and I, we sit here and I'll ask him questions if you guys don't. But what I don't want is like 10 questions in the last 10 minutes. So keep the questions coming, and we'll continue to talk about things that are going on in Union County. I mean, I can come up with questions off the cuff. That's what I do.
Absolutely.
But usually it's about sports and not like community events. But Crystal said they used to give away helmets for the bicycle safety class. I don't know what they do now. But so summertime. We'll go back to summertime. Union County Sheriff, you guys kind of move from with the school resource officers, Justin and Tony.
Yep.
They start patrolling in the mountains.
In the mountains, yep.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the state of Oregon, part of our funding to help keep patrol deputies on staff is funded through state of Oregon. So we get a chunk of change from them and to provide about 800 hours worth of patrol for ATV patrol. That's pretty much anywhere in Union County. We have a side-by-side, a Polaris General that we got on a grant through the state of Oregon. Got it decked out in lights and what, and sometimes they go up and spend some time on that. Otherwise, they're in their patrol vehicles. But anywhere in Union County, they're providing. And it's basically just getting out there and showing folks that we're there. Just that presence alone sometimes is enough to deter someone from getting completely crazy. So letting them know they're there and that somebody's paying attention to them kind of tones things down a little bit. But we're not there as a consequence by any means. We're just there as a preventative and educational piece. We don't write a lot of tickets as far as that goes. It give you the opportunity to get your equipment fixed and see you again, follow up again, and make sure that you've that education worked and you took advantage of that warning.
Right.
But so they transition to that. We have one deputy that transitions in Marine Patrol. So he'll be out on the boat, Thief Valley, Wolf Creek, those areas, and then he'll help out up at Wallowa Lake over the 4th. And
I might have to do a ride along with that deputy one of these
absolutely.
days.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Like, why, you're doing a ride along and you have your fishing pole?
You bet. Bring a sandwich and your fishing pole.
Right? Yeah, definitely. So, guys, live interactive, ask questions. Anything you want to know about Union County Sheriff, about Cody, in his place of work, hit him up. I mean, we're sitting here, we're talking. Morel season was really good this year.
It was awesome this year. Yes. Yeah, it went on and on and on. It seemed like it was every time I went up, there was new mushrooms popping.
Oh, dude, I love them
good.
too. So good. I had pizza, burger. I mean, I had them for like 2 weeks straight. Like,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost turned into a Morel. I don't really like looking for them because I don't see very well, even with my
You're a long
glasses.
ways from them.
Yeah, that's true.
You're
so
a long ways
so are you.
now. We're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, very. Like I need to figure. I need to find one of those dogs.
Yeah, mushroom
Sniffing
sniffing
dogs. Yeah, they had that show that they were recording over in Western Oregon. The mushroom. It was on A&E or whatever, or Discovery.
Yeah.
And it was just outside of where I lived. And mainly they're looking for truffles over there.
Oh yeah.
Right? And they got dogs that'll sniff those truffles out, man. It's crazy.
They're worth some money.
Did you know the largest living organism in the world is right underneath Oregon?
What is it?
It's a mushroom.
Really?
Yeah, it's a huge mushroom.
What kind of mushroom?
I don't know, something that lives underneath the ground. I don't remember the name of it. Yeah. It's the largest living organism in the world.
Really?
Yeah. It's right here in Oregon. Yeah, I mean, Google it when we're done, but
I'm gonna Google it
it
now.
really is.
I'll fact check him.
You don't have to. I mean, it's 100% sure.
Got you.
I had the name of it on the morning show one time, but I don't remember it now. So, like I said, Loveland Safe Rides is what makes this possible, and it's so important. Like, I mean, I wish we knew exact numbers, but the reality of it is, if even one life is saved by it, that's good enough.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, we can't measure it. There's no, you never know. But at the same time, like, just even one person saved by not drinking and driving and having a designated driver in a vehicle that's provided locally by all the different car dealerships. I mean, Legacy Ford, Legacy Dodge, other guys, Goss.
Yeah.
Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody there?
No, I don't think so.
But they provide these vehicles, and then the Loveland Safe Ride gets drivers, and then we go and we, they give people rides home.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about it? If you think about that is, and I might see this, being in the profession that I'm in, but who usually gets hurt when a DUI driver, when an accident happens, when somebody dies?
It's the other person.
Yeah, it's totally somebody unrelated.
You're all relaxed when you're
It's
drunk.
it's not the driver. It's not the guy or the gal that's actually intoxicated that's committing the crime. It's some other victim or their family or that whole darn family that gets affected by that and the trickle down. So, sure, we've saved some people. The intoxicated drivers maybe saved them from jail, saved them from whatnot, or they. I didn't say we. They have saved them from that. But the list goes on, and I can't fathom the impact that's had on our community, of the not knowing.
Right.
It's huge.
Right.
Huge.
Well, and when there's drinking and driving, just the web of people that it affects.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just, like you said, it's not just the driver, it's the driver's family. It's their financial situation. It's with a DUI, or if there's a wreck and somebody dies, it's the victim's family, but then it's also the driver too. I mean, they made a terrible decision, and then they got to go to prison. They got to live with that for their whole life, and this is just one way to prevent that, and it's absolutely amazing. I heard, who was I talking to? I don't remember who I was talking to, but it's like pretty simple. People will say, well, it's such an inconvenience to go get my car the next day. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? It's an inconvenience to get your car the next day? That's the dumbest.
Priorities.
Yeah, it's the dumbest excuse I've ever heard. We got a question.
All right.
How's the building thing for mental and drug help so they aren't in jail?
Oh, so we talked about that a little bit with CHD was looking at bringing in a facility. I was looking at bringing in a facility that had some type of stabilization unit as far as treating, or helping or assisting with mental health or drug addiction situations, people in crisis. So what I did on that is I kind of backpedaled a little bit. I stepped back away from it a little bit, and my idea going into that, just a brief summary, was we need a new facility, new law enforcement facility, and my thoughts behind that were to, obviously include LeGrand and City Dispatch, and what I wanted to do is, bring in juvenile, bring in mental health, bring in, whoever we could, so we're all in one area and everybody working together, where we could, bump shoulders in the hall and be like, hey, I just had an interaction with this guy, those things are priceless. But so funding is huge for that. We're talking several million, $30-50 million at looking at a new facility like that. And you got to step back and how do you get this type of funding? And we were looking at help through the state, through some legislatures, through congressmen, and that funding just wasn't there. The defund the police motion is still kind of going in the bigger areas, rather than let's recognize what works and let's fund that and give them more of what they need to make it work. So backpedal a little bit that, and my request right now, proposal, is to have our current building kind of just picked apart and looked at and see what can we do with this. So I was told before I was in this position as sheriff that former administration had something done, or the county had something done a long time ago to have our building assessed, and the outcome of that was unfavorable. The building was not possible to bring up to code. It was first designed to go out further, even out on the street to where it's at now, and then go up L or K Avenue a little ways, and that never happened. So space right from the get-go of conception was limited, and then it was designed as the first floor. There's the basement, then the first floor, and it was designed to be built up. And that never came to fruition. It basically, now at this point, the building has a structured roof on it. It can't go up anymore. So it can't be brought up to code to go up to expand our service. So what I've asked for, again, it comes back on funding, trying to find out how I can get, $50,000, I believe it's $48,000 to get this outfit to come in and do a complete assessment. Look at what we have, look at the building itself. Can we expand? Can we go down? Can we go up? Can we take the space that we have? Because there's a lot of unused, a lot of unwanted, a lot of just, design flaws from original conception of where it was supposed to go and it never went. So there's a lot of areas that I have questions of, can we upgrade what we have and still, achieve that goal of providing that product to the community where we can provide a better service all in one. It's just a matter of funding. I'm still trying to find funding streams to work with the county to get that assessment done on the building and get an idea of what we can and what we can't do. Being, responsible to the taxpayers and using your money to the best of my ability, I kind of feel 100% responsible and to spend it, responsibly, if you will, and make sure that I'm not missing something with the establishment that we already have. Do we need this new facility, or can we make do with what we have for the next 20, 30, 50 years? I don't know. Oh.
Well, we looked at those pictures last time.
Yeah.
And there's definitely some stuff that needs to be.
Yeah, there's some structural, some questionable stuff. Yeah. And it's not from lack of maintenance. I mean, they've taken care of the building. It's just flat old. It was built in the early 70s. It was designed for, the court records were down. My stepmom worked there for all of her career. She worked downstairs in the basement of this place, and I mean, you go down there now and it's like the sewer's leaking. I mean, it's just stuff that it's just wear and tear is all it is. So,
right.
But it's just old. Things wear out when they get old.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Dude, we are getting old.
I know.
I don't want to get old anymore.
Yeah.
I'm still young at heart, but I'll the weather will change and I'll be, oh man, goodness gracious.
My wife's got me taking all these vitamins.
We shouldn't have went so hard.
I know. It was hard. It was the younger years.
Yeah. It's like if I knew what I know now, right? I probably would have slowed down. Well, no.
Nah.
You're right. So while we're waiting for a question, let's dive into this. A day in the life of Cody Bowen. What does that look like? Like you wake up.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
It starts out with, I try every morning to get up and have coffee with the wife. That's important time for her to, for her to wake up, for us to talk about the day, to still talk about stuff that was going on. I wake up, try and have coffee. I'm not good at it sometimes. I enjoy sleeping sometimes, and if I don't have anything scheduled immediately, I get lazy. But I, as of right now, it's get up, it's have coffee with the wife, have that that good interaction in the morning. Make sure that she still loves me, from the night before.
We good?
Yeah. I know I was late. I know you didn't see me. I'm here. But just kidding, baby. Establish that, and then it's off to work. I put on my gear. Depending on if I have anything scheduled on the books, I'll look. I'll put on my, my bulletproof vest, my gun, my badge, whatever that looks like, the cowboy hat, whatever that looks like. Otherwise, it's, it's business casual, my gun, my badge, and I'll head out the door. Usually I like to little nostalgia. I patrol the school areas. I try and circle the schools. It's a habit of mine, whether that's Island City or whatnot, or run out to Union, depending on what time I get in the vehicle. I miss those days. I miss seeing the kids. So I'll spend some time in the school areas. I'll drive around through the county. I'll make a trip out through, Island City, Somerville, just kind of see what's going on, what the sunshine brought, and then head into the office. And then it's emails and paperwork. I don't wake up to, there's not a day that I walk in there without, 50 new emails. And half of them are, I don't need to even see, but I'm part of that,
Yeah.
And, some of it's good informative stuff, it's that's how people talk, they don't pick up the phone anymore. I'll send you an email quicker than I can call you and tell you what I need, and I know you got it, So, so go through the emails, and then meetings. Monthly we have a prayer breakfast. You try and meet with other law enforcement entities. Just making those appointments, making those meetings. We recently had what they called the Cascadia event, which involved every entity in the community. Yeah, unfortunately, I was in and out in between phone calls and emails and whatnot. Lieutenant Woodward was there, and Chief Bell were there for the law enforcement, and Officer Norton took over on that. Took control of that part of the entity. But man, what a neat drill. I mean, there was everybody from CHG to the hospital to OTEC to, I think the only person that wasn't involved, I think, was the railroad. But, which would be a big factor in that. But it just, they're tough people to get a hold of. But it was really neat to see, basically there's somebody on the other end of the line calling a fake 911 and saying, hey, we just had a landslide out here on 82.
Yeah.
We don't have any power out here in Union. You've got 5,000 people coming from the Willamette Valley that need food, homes, places
There's
to stay.
a riot out at Flying
There's a
J.
riot. Yeah, there's people stealing gas.
Gas,
There's,
yeah.
It was really
I
neat to
heard
see.
about that.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to follow up on. But yeah, just stuff like that. And then it's running around. It's trying to stay in contact with our small town mayors, whether that's phone calls, whether that's meeting, whether that's having lunch with some of our the business partners throughout the community. I'm really big on relationships, and I hate nothing more in fact, I apologize because I responded to the mayor of North Powder today. He called me and I couldn't get to the phone. I was in a meeting, and I had to text him back and let him know. And that I don't like having that disconnect. So Mayor Freebos, I'm going to make my effort to get out there to you and have some one-on-one. They've got the Huckleberry Fest coming up. They're moving from their from their old city hall into their new city hall, if you will. We're going to have work crew help out with that. So I was trying to get the dots connected there. So yeah, like you said earlier, I'm very big on getting back to people and being available in a timely manner. And again, that circles back to in the morning of having coffee with the wife when I neglected her when I was on the phone with something else at all hours of the night. So yeah, busy time right now. We've got lots of exciting stuff going on, and we've got a lot of time going on, a lot of big stuff going on in the courtroom. Right now we have four people in my jail right now that are sitting there on murder charges.
I know.
4 people. Yeah. I mean, that's just crazy for Union County.
And a couple of them have been sitting there for like years.
3.5 years that have just, we are just as frustrated with the judicial system as the judicial system is themselves. The district attorney's office, the attorneys that they've had to try and go through from the judges to I mean, man, it's
I'd hate to walk that
frustrating.
Walk. Like I would not.
Yeah, it would be nice when someone commits something like that, and you could, of course, lock them up and then have them get their due diligence, have them get their due process, and a jury of their peers, and that case is resolved in a timely manner. 3 years for one person to be in our jail is a taxing nightmare. If the people knew how much money that was spent on some of those inmates over the course of that time, we provide everything, their medical, their food, everything. They would absolutely, we'd have tyranny. It'd be people would lose their mind, and rightfully so.
County jails aren't designed to house people for that long.
They are not.
They're designed 364.
Yep, exactly.
Right?
Yep. I mean, less than 1 year.
Yes,
yes.
That's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, it is frustrating.
Okay, so folks, we're gonna go like 10 more minutes. We're at the 50-minute mark. Cody and I are gonna go 10 more minutes. If you have any questions, get them in now, and I'll get them asked before we get out of here. Loveland Safe Rides. I mean, once again, we're going to talk about Loveland Safe Rides because they're the ones that bring this to you. If you have the ability or down the road to support Loveland Safe Ride, do it. It's 100% worth it. They do a great job. Kevin and his people, it's awesome, really. So, with your daily thing.
Yeah.
What's the last thing that you think about before you go to bed?
Lately, it's been Elgin.
Yeah, well, I kind of figured that.
Yeah, and I think about it. I wake up at night and I think about it. And I get up in the morning and I think about it. That is put aside. The last thing that I think about is my inner circle. My family. Did I take enough time? Did I pay attention to my children? Did I pay enough attention to my grandchild that I have now? My grandpa.
You are
excited. I know, and I try and let them be new parents and have their own time. But there's, I question. Did I call enough? Did I talk enough? Did I offer? Did I tell my my middle child that I love them? Did I tell my oldest child that stuff like that? That you get so busy in the hustle and bustle of life and the day-to-day stuff, and there's the sign on my wall in my kitchen that says, "Never get so busy making a living you forget to make a life," and that's important. That resonates with me. There's also a sign at my cabin that says, "Having kids is being pecked to death like a duck. It's like being pecked to death by a duck." So it goes hand.
At least they're soft pecks, right? It's not like a chicken with a
dead. But those are the moments that I really reflect on at the end of the day. That I want to make sure that did I pay enough attention to that? Because at the end of the day, all of this other stuff, the job, the career, the it doesn't matter. What matters is those little things at home and that family and being a good father and being a good husband. So that's the end of the day stuff that I think about and try to most of the time. But
what do you do? What's your hobby? Like, if you had to say one hobby, what is it?
Hunting.
I already knew that.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to hunt?
Elk.
Really?
I love hunting elk, man. Yeah, and we live in our patch. You can look; it reflects the majority of the guys in the office. It reflects our community, our area. Our prized branch bull unit that we have up here. That people from around the country, are dying to get tags for. They're spending 22 years
21, 22,
of constantly putting in the money, putting in the time, trying to get that coveted tag. So I have a cabin up there right smack in the middle of that, and it's on our swag.
It's on the swag.
Speaking of that, we do have a bunch of new swag in. We've got a bunch of beer koozies. We've even got.
You didn't bring any?
I will bring some next time.
You're failing.
I've got some nice hard koozies for your Trulies.
Yeah.
For your White Claws.
Not me.
Not you. Yes, but for those that partake in that, we've got a lot of new water bottles. We've got some sweatshirts, and all of that. Anytime that you guys purchase that stuff, it all goes to help our reserve program and our cadet program. Deputy Kelly's done an amazing job with that, and that. We don't make any money off of that, and the money the very little money that we do, it goes right into those programs to keep those going, to buy gear for those guys, to whatever that looks like. But yeah, if you want some new stuff, you can check out our website. We've got it on there, and then come up to the office, and I'll show you everything that we got.
Nice. I heard a story about the Mount Emily unit, right?
Yeah.
So this guy, his wife put in for some other unit, and he accidentally put his points towards that, like the whatever.
Yeah.
And he was going to get it this year, but they send you, a confirmation, and they're like, oh, you can change it up to a certain date.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't paying attention, and he ended up not getting the tag.
Yeah. I think I would find some medical reason where I couldn't hunt that year, and then go to ODF&W and be like, hey,
my leg.
My cataract or something. There ain't no gas in it. Whatever that looks like. Can I please get this back?
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. But yeah, that's something, we've done that, not hunt of a lifetime, but opportunity for terminal youth with my friend Steve West up there on the mountain, and taking the less fortunate kids, the terminal illnesses out, and, just spending 2 weeks of my time a year going out and doing that and being with those kids and their families. And man, that's, for my own kids, my own family, and, taking my wife out hunting, whatever that looks like, it's, man, that's a passion of mine. I wish it came around a little bit more often than once a year.
Yeah. Moonlight this year.
Moonlight this year.
Yeah. Are you guys going to have a presence there? I would assume.
The city, yeah. Well, whatever big functions are going on where there's a lot of people, generally cops are drawn to. So yeah, we'll have some county guys roll through, just to see the action or maybe watch a game or something. But yeah,
there might be some playing. You never know.
There could be some deputies playing. Absolutely, we got some athletes.
I hope that it gets back to where it was. Because there is some drunkenness and some idiots and this and that. But that was huge in LeGrand for a long time.
I remember when I was a kid, softball. I still have vivid memories of the Hams beer mascot running around.
Right.
Those guys that we looked up to, and I can't even fathom. But Rockin' Sons back in the day, or Wendell's. It was Wendell's Corner back in the day.
Yep.
That team was absolutely stacked with some of the people that you looked up and thought they were just absolute giants, and they were pillars of our community and whatnot, and that gave me a love for the game. It was a huge event. It brings in a lot of people, fills up the motels, the vendors, the food. Sure, there's a little bit of loudness at night down there or something, but it's only a couple days.
Yeah. So for people that are watching that don't know, Moonlight is a softball tournament. They used to do a men's and a co-ed. This year it's co-ed only, I think.
Yep.
And they just play all weekend, all through the night. And the thing is if you lose, you get the crappy time slots, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? So a lot of people camp down there. It's down at Pioneer Park, and it is a blast. If you haven't been there, I would encourage you to go check that out this year, because it's so fun. It really is. It brings together all kinds of people from the community. You'll see a bunch of teams, and it's just a blast. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to see it back.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to get Cody out of here. His time's valuable. And once again, Loveland Safe Ride, I'm going to reiterate it. They show up to the events, where alcohol is going to be consumed, and they give people rides, and it's free. I mean, like, the only, thing that people complain about is having to go back to get your car. But would you rather not have a car? You know what I mean? From driving under the influence. So, like, anytime you have a chance to help Loveland Safe Ride, please do it. Cody, I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you,
man.
Doddsy. Thank you.
We get this together. We got some good questions tonight. We got to learn a little bit more about you, like personally, and I think that's important for people that live in this community to know the people that are, public figures. And you're a public figure. I mean, that's the reality of it. You're voted in by the people as the sheriff of Union County, and I think you're doing a great job.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Eastern Oregon, we appreciate you. See you next time. Keeping it clear with Cody Bowen.